There are always good releases being thrown at us left and right, some slipping through the cracks, sinking beneath the ever-prevalent wave of back-to-back AAA titles, sequels, rehashed IPs, and the common drivel we're given on a steady basis. But it's not often that we get a solid release that hits all the right checkboxes, and as an extra cherry on top, speaks directly to a certain type of fan without sacrificing itself or reducing the product down to simple pandering. Enter Ruiner, the complete love child of both hard Japanese cyberpunk with enough Western sensibilities to keep the game from meandering too much on either region to the point where things start to lose focus. The game is as clean, sterile, sharp, and focused as it is gritty, grimdark, and rough around the edges. At face value, it's a hardcore, hyper-violent, futuristic twin-stick shooter set in the year 2091. The plot follows a nameless protagonist whose mind has been hijacked by a notorious hacker in an attempt to assassinate his enemies. When our hero's mind is freed by another hacker, we find that our hero's brother has been kidnapped and tortured as incentive to do the job regardless of mind control. Thus begins a bloody revenge plot taking you from one edge of the city to the next on one of the most stylish rampages I've come across to date. Ruiner is unapologetic with its influences from the likes of Ghost in the Shell, Akira, Shadowrun, Neuromancer, but manages to carve out a distinct look and feel that we haven't seen too much of from the genre as a whole, while using all of the existing elements as a foundation. The payoff results in a cohesive visual language that never breaks tongue. Every single bit of information on the screen adds to the overall aesthetic. When you sit down to play Ruiner, you're invited to do something engaging, treading familiar territory in an all-new way. Ruiner is probably most comparable to Hotline Miami for championing violence above all in a top-down perspective paired up with unforgiving kill-or-be-killed gameplay. Both games deal with themes like the underworld and human depravity, as well as a masked main character willing to do the necessary work, but the comparisons stop there. Ruiner goes above and beyond other twin-stick murder fests, adding a wide variety of skills to help you curve through situations. Skills that can be changed on the fly at any given time for a quick change in strategy during crucial moments. Encounters with enemies can end in a heartbeat at the slightest misstep, and the proper use of skills and management keep your eyes and fingers in a dance for survival during every stage. All weapons feel powerful, and the finite ammo adds to the tension that makes it feel more rewarding for going off of the beaten path and finding them in chests and hacked lockers. Combat's hazy give and take never leaves you feeling like the game is unfair, only that you made the wrong choices. When you're not filling up the city's morgue, you spend time in the game's hub. Congested city streets and dark alleys teeming with people losing their minds slowly under the red lights. Everyone in Ruiner is a bit off, but no one's complaining about it. Winding down from the bloodlust and talking with NPCs in Rencock City can provide side quests and bounties along with small quips of dialogue that ripen the already rich experience. The greatest thing about Ruiner is its hardwired philosophy and design. It doesn't pretend to be a game that it's not, and doesn't intend to overstay its welcome. The campaign tops out at about 15 hours, and that's while taking your sweet time trying to scrounge every bit of juice from the game as possible. While there are other Cyberpunk games designed to fill some of the spaces left open in recent years, like Satellite Reign, which does a stellar job of recreating and updating the spirit of Syndicate, or Shadowrun Returns, bringing back the classic iconic dark future, there always seems to be something missing from each of these games. They're amazing in their own right, but there's a feeling of want for something, keeping them back from really being legendary. Shadowrun nailed the rich story and characters needed to give a useful role-playing experience, but the bare-bones static, Jagged Alliance-style gameplay weighed it down. Satellite Reign perfectly executed tactical cyberpunk gameplay with small unit-based combat, with a lot of precision, but it lacked a lot of world building. The city felt skeletal and hollow at times. Ruiner doesn't have this problem. Its ambitions are realized here because they aren't grandiose, and every detail just reveals more and more obvious love for the project and its inspirations. Your handler's berserk pin on her lapel, the witty responses showing up on the hero's mask display, and the like. Instead of figuring out how they can draw on what people might enjoy and add a shell or a fraction of that in gameplay, Raycon Games seems to have thought about how to bulk up the foundation they'd already put together by piling on detail into things that were already interwoven into the core design. This is an experience everyone should undertake at least once for the sake of playing a solid top-down twin-stick shooter. As a huge fan of the genre and all it has to offer, I'm ecstatic. Ruiner will be in rotation in my library until and way after the release of Cyberpunk 2077. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as usual, take care of yourselves, guys.